As the health service recruits thousands of former NHS workers and also cabin crew, pharmacists on the high street are also hugely in demand. Well, let's go live to Oxford, where we can talk to Andrew Lane. He's the chairman of the National Pharmacy Association. And of course, Mr. Lane, many of these pharmacies are independent small businesses.
Absolutely, Adam. My message is that pharmacy teams are there for you in this crisis, but while community pharmacists and their teams may be acting heroically, they're not invincible. They risk exposure to the virus on a daily basis in order to keep the population healthy, and we're really asking the public to respect their safety and don't go to the pharmacy if they are or suspect they might be infected with the virus.
I went into my local pharmacy and the people working there were all wearing masks. Are they getting any help with PPE equipment from the government?
It's been very slow to come. Some pharmacies had deliveries and for various reasons have ran out. Clearly, all the more reason to get the proper PPE to the frontline pharmacy staff ASAP. Some of the pharmacies may be reducing their hours, essentially to clean their premises, to give the teams time to catch up, as clearly as demand has increased in the past 2 weeks. And it's likely to become the norm. And I think, the more we get involved in that process, the more we will need the real PPE to the front line.
And what about other financial assistance, as you say, but, ours are maybe longer or shorter, you may need more assistance. Is there any money coming in from the government?
Well, that's currently with our negotiator, the PSNC. We need extra cash to cover the impact on pharmacy costs for the year ahead. Staff are key, and we need to keep them working for the public. Effectively, you mentioned testing earlier, Adam. We need our frontline pharmacy staff to be tested, and not just to keep the public safe, but to allow sustainability of the workforce. The brave pharmacy staff then obviously can continue to serve the public and not self-isolate for a period when perhaps it may not be necessary. So we need them on the front line, but we need them protected.
I mean, very often when people aren't feeling so good, their first point of call is the pharmacist to see, whether he or she thinks that they've got a problem or not. Are you saying that function, simply we should stop that?
What in terms of getting into the pharmacy, you mean?
Yeah.
Well, I think there's a process here, and we've seen it in supermarkets. I think if we've got a process and it works, the public will clearly understand at this point in time some of the distancing rules are lapse in certain areas. We've seen that, but in a small pharmacy environment, that actually might mean allowing just one person in at a time. So clearly that's going to have a knock-on impact, and it will increase waiting times, queues built in some areas. But clearly our staff are trying to deal with that, often with reduced staffing, of course. It has an extra impact on how quickly they can get to the next customer.
And as I understand it, I mean, perhaps I'm wrong, correct me if I am, there isn't actually much you can buy over the counter that's going to be much good coping with this virus if you get it.
Absolutely right. I think all the recommendations are out there. We've seen a massive demand in paracetamol, of course, and we're asking the public to only buy clearly what they need or order what they need from their GP. And clearly they also need to allow extra time for this to be ready in the pharmacy. That's going to help avoid creating difficulties for others. And then everyone in the community pharmacy can get on getting the medicines that the public need. There's plenty of stock in the supply chain, but you may see pharmacies having to limit some of the most vital and in-demand medicines, so there's enough to go around.
There's also equipment as well, thermometers, masks, things like that you can normally buy in a pharmacy. Are they simply run out of those?
Yeah, there was initial run on that, as you can imagine. There are stocks in the supply chain, but they've been very, very slow in getting to us.
So if you want one message to the public about their local chemist, what is it?
Keep supporting us, Adam. And I think, as Roy Lilly said, we don't know how many have the virus. We don't know how many have had it. Testing will confirm that, and we need to get testing to our frontline staff quickly.
Thank you very much indeed. They're joined by Andrew Lane of the National Pharmacy Association.